Mama, bravo, I'm pretty, I'm if you say Radina Kazaka, I say, Oringa Yani, there's a worry by your head. And in the grass of Mamika, but I never done. No cross of Mamika, no cross of Mamika, no cross of Mamika, but I never done. I'm a Mexican Ibra. Mama, bravo, I'm a pretty, I'm also. If you say Radina Kazaka, I say, worry, Gayani, there's no worry by it. It's in the grass of Mamika, Madame, what I'm for, I'm a Mexican Ibra. Mama, bravo, I'm a pretty, I'm also. If you say Radina Kazaka, I say,
Pacho, good morning. Your friend Ampofo. People call me Sakawa. Me be a 14 player. Mentua banko baby, and I'm a mentua. Kennedy, so be president. Me to Obama. Because my mama bread. Someone one I'm the neighbor, and yet you are blend your penny. You obey me a boo man. Kennedy me Pacho, a mother was and wood groomer. Bomia was say, Alankash was say, Kennedy ni Padubu Chumuka. Then I phone penny from penny. Na Kennedy na me di munti ono obeba wa ma ye taxi drivers ya ntoaba ya oma ya ntoaba se Kennedy ya ma power ya taxi drivers ya ntoaba
eno waka no
ya adwuma wa bepo junction obi awe sanhye ma no
eno waka no
ya bufu sem nam de ka no papa ne ginidi so obetimi aye no obeye soso
ya ka mo me nka
no Kennedy no boto
minim papa da tro drivers taxi drivers minim papa da
papa no info me ka da mi kosia no hen ayefa na minim no ba ne niema ane ne niema bi a wa yenti eti na pese to abane de e ma no no Kennedy no good me Kennedy wan wini promise am me to aba me wan no ni abepo junction taxi drivers association the company for no ho me a chairman the company for no se Kennedy awani aye to aba
piao
obi aka bi an kire ye
piao
ya agene ye hu de papa no betimi aye all my brain me wotimi ye no
piao
no cross of Mamika, no cross of Mamika, no cross of Mamika, Madame Mutafuana, I'm a Mexican Ibra. Mama, bravo, I'm a pretty, I'm also. If you say Radina Kazaka, I say, worry, Gayani. There's no worry by it. It's in the grass of Mamika. Madame, what I'm for, Mamma, Mexican Ibra. Mama, bravo, I'm a pretty, I'm also. If you say Radina Kazaka, I say, worry, Gayani. There's no worry by it. It's in the grass of Mamika. Madame Mutafuana, Mama Mexican Ibra. Mama, bravo, I'm a pretty, I'm also. If you say Radina Kazaka, I say, Oringa Yani, there's a worry by your head. And in the grass of Mamika, Madame Mutafuana. No cross of Mamika, no cross of Mamika, no cross of Mamika, Madame Mutafuana, I'm a Mexican Ibra. Mama, bravo, I'm a pretty, I'm also. If you say Radina Kazaka, I say, worry, Gayani. There's no worry by it. It's in the grass of Mamika. Madame, what I'm for, Mamma Mexican Ibra. Mama, bravo, I'm a Every say Radina Kazaka Asa Orinya Yani there's a worry Mayeda it in the cross of Mamika Yeti Madane Mojabuana Mamu Mazikani Bre.
My guest this Sunday says what Ghana needs are thinkers, dreamers, and doers. Mr. Ken Ohene Agyapong, thank you for coming on Time with David.
Welcome.
You've been Member of Parliament for 7 years, thereabouts. As Member of Parliament, tell me, sir, do you feel that you have been in a position to add value in the real sense of a Member of Parliament's role?
In terms of national or district?
National.
Yes, I think so. When I became a parliamentarian, initially people felt I couldn't do it because of my time.
What do you mean because of your time?
My busy schedule in terms of business.
You're a businessman, as I realize. Yeah.
But anything I set my mind on to do it, make sure I do it. So I concentrated on my parliamentary duties. And of course, one thing I realized, especially with the media, is that people were afraid to speak the truth. That's a change that I personally believe that I've made my mark there, because
where, in Parliament?
Yeah, in Parliament, everywhere, in public, I speak my mind like it is. I always want to speak the truth. I know it hurts, but I make sure I come up with facts and defend all issues. And
because you do have a bit of reputation. It's funny, people tend to suggest that, it's an MP, but it can be critical of MPP policy. That's correct, eh?
Yes. They say so because, sometimes I feel Ghana first, not my party. My party comes second. And again, I do so because, sometimes if you don't correct your own people or yourself, you become swollen-headed, and by the time you realize you've been voted out of power. So I always do that to draw the attention of my party, of the public perception out there, that they might think they'll be doing the right thing, but it doesn't go well with the public. So, and I always deal with the common people. So whatever comments they make, I pass it on by challenging issues. One thing I did that did not go well with my party was when I criticized the fuel increases. And I think initially they didn't understand. That time, Ghanaians were becoming agitated because we were increasing fuel prices based on world market. There were changes in prices, and of course it was going up all the time. So they wanted to adjust prices. But I said that even in America, where they practice capitalism to its climax, there are elements of socialism. I was there when Republican or Bush administration called all petroleum dealers to question them why they are making huge profits and still prices are going up. I mean, it shows concern. So when my party decided to increase, I think within 2 months, it had gone up for about 3 times.
You were concerned?
Yeah, I was concerned.
And you expressed it?
Yeah.
But they did nothing about it?
Oh, they did.
What did they do?
They did. When I criticized it, in fact, some of the ministers and MPs agreed with me, just that they didn't like the way I put it in public domain. But I think if I had not done that, they wouldn't have reduced it. That is how they got the petroleum levy. They reduced it because they wanted an area where they can reduce, the tax, so that the burden will not be too much on them.
What do you make of the view that there is a bit of a concern that when people are MPs, are also ministers of state, often they don't have enough time to do either of the jobs, and that perhaps we have to rethink that? What do you think of that as a member of parliament?
Today, Honorable Alajete even made an interesting point in one of the papers, saying that the executive have
too much power.
Too much power.
That's the presidency. Is that what it means?
I would suggest, or what my personal opinion is that Parliament should be an independent body as well as the executive.
But that's the whole purpose. I mean, separation of powers.
Yeah, separation of powers, my brother, personal opinion is that sometimes should be an independent the government wants to push her agenda, and she needs the party or her MPs, to do whatever they expect. You might not agree with them, but because it's coming from the presidency and it's the agenda of the government, you have to do it.
Why do you have to do it? That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you stand up to them, they think you are not for the party. Sometimes you are in parliament and you see that what the opposition is saying is right. But because it's your party's agenda, they whip all of us to go and vote. So sometimes, if you are not strong enough, you might vote without thinking, because that is the agenda.
But you don't have a choice anyway. I mean, you just said that, I mean, you don't have to think. You have to do it because they ask you to do it.
Well, but you should ask yourself, what you are being asked to do, is it the right thing?
But does that happen? That's my question. Do you find in Parliament MPs actually ruling government party, MPs opposing something? Does that happen?
It does happen. I've done that a couple of times. My honorable friend from Esikuma Dobin Brakwa, he's been called all sorts of names.
But you vote in the end, did you? I mean, then you vote with them.
Well,
right?
that is when they do the amendments to suit what we expect. Then we vote. We've been critical of whatever they've done a couple of times, and they withdrew it, came back with the amendments.
So members of parliament, really, I just want to get to the bottom of something here. I mean, why are you even concerned about it? After all, your constituents put you there. They are the only ones who can remove you.
Yeah, you see,